What's going on, everybody? I'm coming at you with a different video, and today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm here with my friend, my director, and my producer partner, Mr. LJ Culshaw. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing
Good
pretty
to
good.
see ya.
Yeah, great to see you, man. No, I'm really excited to do this. I've been meaning to do this because I have other pieces of work that I wanted to put out on my YouTube channel, but I felt like it was appropriate to kind of like not necessarily like close the chapter on an innocent guy, but I felt like, you know what, we should really like talk about this just to kind of give people like insight on like, how this was made, why this was made, etc., and all that type of stuff. And
Sure,
yeah,
sure, sure.
I just felt like we need to do this. So
Very cool.
yeah. How you doing, by the way? First of all, congratulations on being a dad. I
Yeah.
I think
Um,
that's so cool, man. Like I just think that's so awesome.
yeah. It's been quite the last couple months. It's slowly catching up on my sleep again. So
Yeah. Yeah.
every day's a new day, but it's great. Love being a dad.
Yeah. That's good, man. Yeah, that's probably another like 2 to 3 years away from me. So, we'll see. But yeah, man. But as far as an innocent guy goes, yeah, we shot this, I think like 6 months ago. No, not even 6 months ago. Um, like 9 months ago. We shot this in, I think, January, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Wow, man. So I know we talked a little bit about this in terms of doing it. Obviously, we did it, but what was it about this story that fascinated you? Like, what was it about this story in particular that made it on the bucket list for you as a filmmaker to like make?
Well, I was first called to the attention of that short story by a college friend of mine, and he was I'm a Marvel guy, read mostly Marvel, but had some DC love. He was mainly DC, and he was showing me the Batman black and whites, and he was like, "Check out the story. I think it's pretty slick." Yeah, it was drawn and written by Brian Boland, and it's just a cool little encapsulation of a different type of like villain that Batman usually doesn't go up against. Usually he's up against like a Joker or Riddler, like a little bit, Bane, a little bigger threats than let's say the every average psychopath, and then when me and you were like talking about like doing something together, that kind of like popped in my head as something that always seems like it might be an easy thing to shoot and always ends up not being.
No. 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 I mean, always like, yeah, it's like Murphy's Law. That's something that I understand more and more every film production that I go on. What can go wrong will go wrong. So just
Mhm.
be ready for shit to hit the fan.
Yeah.
Um,
Prepare, 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 and prepare for you to never be prepared enough.
yeah,
So
definitely. Well, I mean, I'm glad it worked out because obviously we had talked about doing like another project that technically we're still working on right now.
yeah, it's
But
been
it would have
a long time.
required me to be like in prosthetic. And so like right now I'm at this point in my career where I'm like, okay, like I want to really start putting stuff out with like my face and you can actually see me emote. And so this actually I actually think that this worked out even better. I think for both of us, but definitely for me in the sense that I actually have something to show for it. It's like, oh, actually I can do this thing amongst like other things. And so yeah, I'm really glad that it worked out and it was a really good experience. I mean, yeah, it was a very interesting um process. I had never done anything in terms of like preparing for like a monologue that
Yeah,
amount.
and for me as well, as someone who not a big fan of monologues, like I think
Yeah.
they just are like very much for an actor to show off a bit, or a writer to show off how well their writing is. It was all monologue.
Yeah.
So it was like it was just a lot of words for you to remember and memorize and like
Oh,
repeat with exactly the same. And you did a really good job, especially really kind of like your first time leading something. I think yeah,
yeah.
you held your own, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was good. I'm happy with it. I'm grateful to you. Definitely you and Crystal. And I just I'm really happy with how it turned out. I mean, obviously, a lot of it. I mean, I think we shot it all in about a day, but the majority of it was in post, and the result shows. I mean, you can really see, the quality and efficiency of like the sound mixing and the color grading and the editing and the pacing and all that type of stuff. And so I'm really happy with the result. And as far as like the dioramas go for each of the pieces, all in all, like how long did it take to like make like each one on average? Because like that's
It was a couple hours each one, I'd say, just kind of like because you're cutting out like cardboard and the foam core, and then you're kind of like making sure some of the loud printed backgrounds find the right ones that are like license free, have a license to be able to use. And yeah, it's all like it was just like kind of setting up, and they were kind of fun because they were like these little sets that I got to like kind of turn what Brian Boland had drawn in his comic and envisioned as to be this like cinematic thing. And for and with our budget, we really couldn't have a Batman giant caper going on in the background. So I had to like reimagine it as your character is a bit of like an artsy crafty guy who's like doing these little psychopath dioramas.
Mhm.
And yeah, trying to like make that something different and still be true to what the comic was.
Right. Well, no, that process in itself was very interesting because I remember how you had talked about, yeah, we might hire an actor to play like, Batman in the cape. And so it was really cool to see like how it went from that concept uh like to another concept. And I just thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think when it all else fails, like keep it simple. Just like simplify the idea
Yeah.
down as much as you can.
Yeah.
And we aren't the first crew who have tackled this story.
That's
And
exactly what I was gonna say, but go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so and and then see them trying to tackle that, be a little bit bigger, like bigger. Like, britches are a little bigger than they can fill.
Cinematic continuity of uh existing films or properties.
And then I think it also leans into like a fan film a little bit when you throw someone in a Batman costume. And I'm not a huge fan of fan films. I think they are a little bit more of like how I want the character to be instead of trying to be the essence of the character, you
Right.
know? So I was just trying to steer clear of like being a fan film, like also. And there's a few of them that I do like a few fan films. I think they're very well done, but sometimes they can get a little self-indulgent.
Right. No, I know exactly what you mean. One thing that I really appreciate, and I think this is actually kind of like relative to acting. I know this was something that you'd mentioned because prior to even like doing this with you, something that I kind of do is I kind of look up any and all information that's available on the web about like what the property is. So I had seen that, yeah, that a few people had done this prior before, and I did watch it. And so I sent it over to you, and the thing that really stuck out to me was you didn't want to see it, and I respected that because you didn't want like any influence or anything to kind of get in the way of like your process. And I thought that was pretty cool because that's very relative to like acting class, because sometimes in acting class they'll give you a scene, like for example like the Graduate. It could be The Graduate, and of course that's been done so many times before, and the thing that they tell you to do is don't watch the movie. Like,
Mhm.
you want to have your own interpretation of the character that you're reading. And so I saw that was like relative to what you were doing. Like you didn't want anybody to kind of like, you know, get in the way of like what you had in your head. And obviously it's separate. You can see that it's very
I
different.
have a whole lexicon of film language in my brain that I can just pull from, then trying to look at someone else's work and try to like steer clear of it. That's like the worst too. You're like, well, they did that, so I won't do this, all that all that stuff that gets in your head when you're like trying to like do something similar or something that's out there already. It was my interpretation. It was mine and your interpretation of the material, and I wanted to keep it as pure as possible.
Right. Definitely. No, it definitely shows through all of that. Uh, but yeah, I mean that it was cool. I mean, we shot in it a day, took
2 days.
yeah, yeah, that's right, 2 days because of the other stuff.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. My stuff was like in a day, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was it's an experience that I'll never forget, man. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for having me be a part of it. It was a lot of fun. And we had, and we're still working on other stuff, as well. But I
Mhm.
feel like this was kind of like the I mean, we've worked on Continue 987, which for those of you guys who haven't seen already, it's available to watch. I do have a small part in that movie, but that is a feature film that Lucas, LJ Culshaw directed. I'm so used to calling you Lucas, so I apologize.
I just kind of keep it simple, LJ. It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everyone call I'm either called Luke or Lucas or whatever, and I just kind of forgot about. I just block it out, so I just kind of keep it to LJ. Then I feel a little more ownership of
There you go.
myself when
There.
everyone else just wants to call me whatever.
No, that's cool. It's totally cool. But yeah, we worked on Continue 987. Uh, we've done obviously this. We have another one. I think you have another short that's coming out. I think it's called No Peeking, right? That's coming out, I think, on
You got
first.
a little role in there too, little cameo.
Yeah, I got a little cameo in there as well. And yeah, but other than that, I mean, we've been pretty much staying busy. I know we're working on something that's kind of under wraps right now, but when the time comes,
Yeah, that's the long term. So it's just like moving the dial little by little each day on it, and and then just trying to like keep on continuing making some more short films for the YouTube channel, which is kind of like a goal of mine, or not like yeah, because I have all this like time in between like a movie that I'm always itching to shoot something and try to do like two or three a year. So
right. Well, the thing is, like, it's something that I've noticed too is your YouTube channel has grown a lot. I mean, I think you're closing in, or you're already like 2,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel.
over a little bit over today, which is
Okay.
it's nothing, but it's nice to like start growing it like as well as we have. We've been putting a lot of work into it. So
No, that's great. No, I mean that's fantastic. I mean my channel's been gaining a little bit of traction, but it's very impressive that your channel's been gaining a lot of momentum. And one thing that I think is so cool, and this is the type of thinking that I respect, admire, and then even like what I try to vibe with. But this is why I quote unquote, this is why I fuck with you hard because you shared this bit with me and you're talking about how what your goal is for your YouTube channel. Would you mind sharing what that is? Like your big goal?
oh God, I think it was like
Yeah.
I forget the exact number, but I was like I'm like a million subs.
That's what you said. You said a
Yeah.
million subscribers, and then you can take it to the studio. And the thing is, and see, here's the thing, because I know that there are other quote unquote filmmakers out there that do have that subscriber count, but they're not doing what you're doing in terms of like actually making films. They're talking about films, but they're not actually making films. And so I really like your approach because you're doing your thing. That's the focus of it. And you're having momentum and you're gaining ground and the numbers are going up with that. So that's super awesome, super cool goal to have. That's like it inspires me because it's like, you know what, that's the type of thinking that it's like, yeah, you should try to, have those numbers. Yeah, is it like a big goal? Yeah, but anything's possible. I'm a big believer in thinking
Hey,
big.
even if I fall short, I still do pretty good, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah. That's cool. That's good. It's inspiring me. I'm thinking to myself, how, a million subscribers, that's cool. I mean, because then you can go to the studios or the studios can come to you and like what you said, you know. Um,
yeah, I think I think when people want to invest in you, they want to see some sort of like built-in audience today. I mean, that's why there's a lot of people are who get chances at directing that you go, why are they able to get that financing, but you see that they're like come from a background of music or from acting, and they have a lot of like a fan base already built in, and that's like, it's all about getting that type of it's all ticket sales, in their heads, so, and that's what you're trying to do, is like, it's that interesting thing that happens with film, is it's art and commerce like really meet up in a very interesting way. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes art wins, sometimes commerce wins, but
Right.
it's all like,
And very rarely do they both win.
yeah, and it's all business, like I come from a family of like self-made business people. So my grandfather was a salesman, and he like kind of like instilled that into me, of just like kind of creating something of your own and being yours, and I kind of like that American dream, right?
American Dream, man. That's good. But we've had a pretty progressive year. I guess we could wrap it up on this note. But I think overall we've had a pretty progressive year. I think a highlight for me, and definitely like I think a highlight for both of us, was we actually. I mean, I won't get into specifics, but I think a good highlight for you and I this year was actually going to a production office this year and talking about making a feature film with a production company. And I thought that was pretty cool. I had one meeting prior to that, and then had a good positive meeting, and then you know they wanted to meet you, and we talked about that, and so now we have some things that are like marinating. But I feel like that was a good like I said, obviously, people could just be like, oh, we just had a meeting. No, it's pretty cool. You got to celebrate your wins. And
It's
so
always fun. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, the work, but that's not the work.
Yes,
Getting to the work.
it's getting to the work to do the work. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
But no, it's good. It's been a good year. 2024 has been a very slow year, but overall very progressive, and overall I can't complain. And I know you definitely have had a very progressive year with being a dad, and I know
Mhm.
with the baby Celine, that's awesome. So
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, and then just trying to like, be okay with like maybe not running a mile, but you're walking like a block, each day, just trying to like move the dial a little bit every day. And, especially since like no one else really is going to do this for you, so you just kind of like always have to like just be your own cheerleader, kind of be your own coach, just kind of
right,
like push yourself a little bit each day and not be too hard on yourself that you didn't like complete like the thing that probably should take you 3 months to complete, that you do want to complete in a day,
right.
so all
Uh,
that fun stuff of just like creating like art, and something like film, which is like a very collaborative thing, so it takes a lot of like putting pieces into place to get there,
oh
so
yeah. No, that's really good advice, and definitely a great affirmation, because that's just something that I think everybody that does what we do keeps in mind, is that yes, like what you mentioned, and that's something that I can definitely see more and more as each time passes, how much of collaborative art this is. And it is a marathon. You really have to operate with a big picture in mind, and just stay consistent and hold it in your heart and your mind, and just keep moving a little bit. That's the thing. Like I feel like one thing definitely about us, and definitely you as an individual, is just being consistent and just persistent, and just you know moving a little bit more each day, even if it's just an inch or even like a centimeter. It's just the consistency, and we've made some pretty good ground, man. And I feel confident in talking like this, just because of the momentum of like what other things are on the other side in the near future. So I feel pretty good about that. I'm speaking it more into existence. So
and it's also about
yeah,
making sure you have found the joy in it, because it's hard, it's rough on you, but if you're not happy doing it, then don't even bother. It's just like the process for me is the thing I really enjoy. All that other stuff of like getting it out there and all that accolades and stuff like that. that's cool too, but that's not really like that's not the thing that mainly gives me joy. It's like making the thing, making the art, making the like just finishing it, stuff like that. That's what's for me is the most rewarding. Everything else is just icing on the cake. So
Definitely, definitely. Well, I think we pretty much touched up everything that needed to be touched up, man. I really appreciate you doing this with me. Thank you so much. It is an honor. It's a pleasure. And of course, always looking forward to working with you again. For people that are just tuning into this and they're looking at you for the first time, how can people follow you and like any plugins you want to shout out?
oh, just jump on YouTube and look at LJ Culshaw films. We get all our stuff there. I think I'm on Instagram is the same name, LJ Culshaw film. And I don't know, October 1st, no peeking drops. So 8 o'clock on our channel. We'll have our film festival at the Night of Shorts run by Eric Toms. Very cool at the Formosa. It's gonna
A
be a fun
great
time.
guy, by the way. He's a great guy. Really, really,
Hmm
really yeah, really great guy.
it was nice to like work with friends and make something kind of fun for like just a small fun little shoot. Yeah, do that. Just stop on my page, subscribe if you can, and thank you to everyone else who did it already because that's really nice that you felt like it was worthy enough to subscribe to me and I make to watch my stuff and support me. It's very nice, very nice. So very grateful.
Awesome. Well, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, be sure to like this video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Subscribe to Lucas. Follow him on Instagram. Feel free to share. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.